former NHL player, coach, and manager Pat Quinn has died. The news was confirmed on the website of the Vancouver Giants junior hockey team. Quinn was a co-owner of that club. He was a fearsome NHL defenseman. He coached as well. He managed the Vancouver Canucks. Then he coached and managed the Toronto Maple Leafs. He also coached the Philadelphia Flyers, the Los Angeles Kings, and the Edmonton Oilers. One of Quinn's greatest accomplishments was a gold medal as coach of Team Canada at the 2002 Salt Lake City Olympics. Perhaps you remember that series. Well, Quinn died Sunday night at Vancouver General Hospital after a lengthy illness. Well, as you can imagine, people throughout the hockey world are taking a moment perhaps to reflect on their memories of Pat Quinn. Quinn coached former Toronto Maple Leafs captain Wendel Clark for his final season. And Wendel Clark joins me now on the phone to share his thoughts and his memories of his former colleague. Hello to you, Wendel.
Hi, how are you guys?
I'm well. I used the word fearsome when it came to Quinn being in the NHL as a defenseman. But as a coach, what word would you use to describe him?
No, he played fearsome when he came in, and he was a tough defenseman, no nonsense, played hard, give it his all. And then as a coach, it's his presence that made him look more fearsome. He had a great personality, a really level head, and his presence was more of his fearsomeness than his approach.
A lot of people bandying the word legacy around. What would you say is Quinn's legacy to the game?
Pat was one of the great all-time guys in the game. He started as a player, did every kind of role in the game, whether it be NHL, coaching, managing, Hockey Canada, World Junior stuff. He just loved the game, and I think his legacy is how well he was perceived in the game, staying in it from generation to generation or from decade to decade. He could adapt, and his team still won and played well in all those areas. And I think that's great that you can be an NHL coach at your end of your years, and then you step in and you're coaching a World Junior and adapting and things like that to a younger generation. I think that is his big thing, is how he kept the game simple and adapted to players of every era.
And when it came to being, coach of the Leafs, can you share a story with me, perhaps one that we don't know, or from the back rooms, or when you guys did a great job, or when you did a really horrible job? Can you share something?
No, the big thing about Pat was he had a real, when he was in Toronto as coach GM, he had a real presence and confidence about himself. And that's one of the great things when you're coaching and managing in a tough city, and like any of the original 6 cities or Canadian cities where there's a lot of pressure and a lot of questions and a lot of people telling you how to do things. He did it his way. He did it the way he wanted to do it, or the way he knew he had to have his teams play and win, and he was very successful at that. And his biggest, strongest suit was when he made decisions that maybe weren't the fun ones that everybody wanted to hear. He stuck to it and stuck to his guns, and it was his loyalty. And I think I was only a short time there, and I just watching and seeing the loyalty that he had to those players that had a great run with Gary Roberts and Curtis Joseph and Darcy Tucker and all these guys, Chris King, and guys that were with him for a long time. And just the loyalty and the respect that there was between the players and the coach, was a great thing to see when you're playing team sports.
Final question for you, Wendel. He won with the Canadian team in the Olympics 2002, came home. There was lots of fans waiting at the airport. He was hugging and kissing people and just so happy. Was the Stanley Cup ring, the thing he ever talked about is wanting, that one last piece of jewelry, if you will?
Yeah, that's the thing he didn't and wasn't able to get a grasp on. He came close many a time in Vancouver when they beat us out. And played in the finals. I think it was to Game 7 there against the Rangers, and then with Toronto, I know a couple times to the semifinals for sure. And he just wasn't able to get that. But the longevity in his game and each team, the longevity coaching for a while really stands well. And I think what stands higher than just the Stanley Cup is he was one of the good guys of the game that was around the game forever, and you can't take that away from those guys. Like Pat is definitely one of the great people in the game.
What a pleasure to have you on the program. I know it's a terrible story to talk about, but your memories have been great, and I thank you for sharing them.